Speaker, allow me as well to sympathize with them. And I hope they listen so they can receive my sincere sympathy, because trying to audit books of account of 2014, 2015, and those kind of dates, Honorable Speaker, is a Herculean task, and they must have Solomonic wisdom to how they unravel this matter. Honorable Speaker, and it's also interesting and really commendable, because naturally the standard practice that after 7 years, accounting documents are destroyed or they are declared redundant. How they have managed to review the financial books of account for 2013, and indeed I must commend an architect can always redraw, even I destroyed the house, and the chair is an architect I know, and having been a PS, probably has learned the art of exorcising all the ghosts. Honorable Speaker, I must also admit that quite a number of fund managers who attended this meeting to discuss the audited accounts, quite many of them had not even joined the board when these funds were being expended. So indeed, they grappled in the dark, but it's good to see the caliber of what they are. They are able to adequately answer the records, answer all the questions based on the records available. Honorable Speaker, Article 95-96 bestows the National Assembly the mandate to oversight government funds. And indeed, this is what the Honours of Parliament do here in the National Assembly and also in Mashinani in respect of the CDF funds. And I want to reiterate very clearly, for avoidance of doubts, that members of Parliament are not members of the CDFC committees at the constituency level. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, with the change in the law, even where members of Parliament by any accident used to sit in the oversight committee, that has long been reversed. So essentially, the CDF fund as it is a completely independent fund run by its own structures. The members of Parliament only oversight. Just like we can oversight any national government project, we can attend the launch of any national government project when they are being launched, be it by the minister, be it by the PS, be it even by the president, or whoever attends. So our attendance in such launches, such handover, is just part of our representation and of our oversight role. Honorable Speaker, when we seek to find out what has been done, we are simply oversighting. We are not involved directly in the management of the funds. When the reports are brought here, Honorable Speaker, we indeed also have just oversight, like everybody else can do anywhere. So I want the members of the press, the Republic, and everybody to desist at any time associating a member of Parliament with any misappropriation, any corruption, or unethical management of any funds at any given time. The AIE holder, as the chair has clearly explained, is the fund accounts manager. That's the AIE holder at the constituency level. At the board level, it's the CEO. So if there is any issue, indeed the people to answer those questions are the AIE holders who are the fund managers. But fund managers also work within the local context. So it's always important, the Office of the Auditor General and all those who are involved in any form of oversight or auditing must put in mind that this is a local environment, local circumstances. Honorable Speaker, when you go to the procurement processes, Honorable Speaker, you would go to some remote constituencies. You might not be able to get all the contractors who have got all the required documentation at any given time. You impose certain types of plant and machinery, you expect some kind of personnel which will never be found. Indeed, Honorable Speaker, if we were to follow strictly the Public Procurement Asset Disposal Act, then most of the tenders for CDF job, the small ones, will be literally non-responsive, and they will therefore the funds not be spent and be no value for money. That's why we always urge the auditors. Yes, this is what the law says, but the law is progressive. The law is not stuck at one point or another. Even when you look at the provisions about interpretation of the Constitution, they tell you this a live document must be interpreted as a living document, not as a dead horse which you flog and doesn't respond. So we want to urge there's not only this particular fund, there are some even funds like colonization fund that are taken to do work, execute work in very remote places. Let the Office of the Auditor General be realistic, be reasonable, and be alive to the fact that there are local circumstances that dictate a different approach to a strictly procurement process that we could undertake here in Nairobi or elsewhere. The same way, Honorable Speaker, even if it comes to the building bylaws, there are adaptive building bylaws, and there are adaptive building bylaws depending on the local circumstances. Some of the building material that we wish to use in Nairobi cannot be applicable in some places because of the adverse environmental and weather conditions. So these are kind of debate that we need to put into place so that we should not just operate in a straitjacket as if we are robots, unable to think beyond a reasonable level. Honorable Speaker, since CDF came into this country, and I stand to be corrected, and even if we did an opinion poll, everybody will always, every Kenyan wherever they are, they will always flag out a CDF as the most impactful devolved fund in this country. Honorable Speaker, go anywhere in this country. Honorable Speaker, I had the privilege on Friday to drive all the way from Suna West, all the way to Ndiwa, to Karachonyo, all the way to Kisumu City. And everywhere you would see, the only thing you would see the signboard for CDF projects. CDF project. Until at one time, as around Katito, I stopped and asked the locals, does it mean in this part of the world, which looks like the western part where I come from, there are no county governments, or the only county government who could see were the barriers along the road to collect cess and illegal levies. They told us that county governments, we only see them hovering around with sirens and carrying special chairs to go with them, to sit with them in funerals. Once they are done, they carry those chairs, they go away, load in the pickup, go away, zoom to the next function. But the impact of county government funds, equitable funds, even their own source revenue, is nowhere to be seen. That's why I call upon Kenyans of goodwill, wherever you are, you must fight tooth and nail with your blood and water to make sure CDF is never touched at any given time. Because 99%, when your child has got no school fees, who comes to the rescue? Is the CDF bursary. Any time when the wind blows off a roof to a classroom, where do you run the first point of call? You run to CDF to assist you. When you have even very mundane issues, you run to where do you, even when toilets, when public health officers come and condemn the toilet, where do you run to? You run to CDF. So it is incumbent upon all Kenyans wherever we are, that at every given time, we must always train our eyes to how the CDF money is used. It's not the MP's money, it is the people's money. So wherever you are, if you walk anywhere and you find anybody talking ill of CDF, even contemplating or imagining that they can abolish CDF, they are abolishing you completely and the entire lineage of your family. We wish that there could be a bit of collaboration between the CDF and the county government. We could have done much, much more than what we are doing. But Honorable Speaker, whatever to small administrative clerical mistakes they are, we urge the Kenyans, we urge the Auditor General to just treat them as they are. They are of no material impact. So therefore, I want to ask the fund managers to consistently ensure that we comply with the law at any given time. so that at any given, the Speaker is still busy, so that at any given time, Honorable Speaker, we can get value for money. So, Honorable Speaker, as we stand here today, we want to urge the National Board, the CDF Board, the financial year is coming to an end. We have so many CBC classrooms that are stuck. They are not moving because the disbursement has not come. We want them to hasten the disbursement of the funds so that we can put into rapid response measures to ensure these classrooms are completed so that our boys and girls do not have to sit outside as they do their things. Remember, Honorable Speaker, in 2020-26, the current GSS grade 8 after grade 9, they transit to secondary school. And the pathways will require massive investment in terms of art studio, performing studio, science laboratories, and the rest. We must start planning in advance to ensure that we are ready. The only responsive fund that can plan is the CDF. We want to urge all those who have got any infrastructure funds for schools or whichever, channel them through CDF. It will offer better services than giving to technocrats who do not understand the local circumstances. With those very many remarks,
just a minute, Honorable, what is out of order, the Honorable TJ Kajon?
How can it be out of yes, CG?
You know, Mr. Speaker, this good professor will never be out of order, but sometimes he forgets that he's speaking to the nation. Mr. Speaker, I didn't want to interrupt my friend, although I saw that he has fairly prosecuted this matter properly. But Mr. Speaker, looking at the House, I would have really wanted members from VIHIGA to be here, because although we are speaking about the topic really is about the public expenses and how to audit them by the House. But these are being used by people from VIHIGA. And my friend comes from VIHIGA. No, he comes from Busia, but he is a neighbor to VIHIGA. But how I wish that VIHIGA people would be here to debate this more robustly, so that the people of VIHIGA as a people can feel that their monies are utilized properly and are audited properly. And even the Auditor General, who is not in this House, you see, there should be annexures that people should understand that this is monies from national government, audited by an independent Auditor General within the law, and brought to this House, inspected by this House, and resolutions taken by this House to oversight those audit queries. So, Mr. Speaker, in that light, would I be in order that in the circumstances that we face, that this House is not quorated to discuss this matter exhaustively, and therefore the Speaker should ring the bell?
Do you have the numbers?